Hello everyone, today we're going to be learning about simple quadratic equations. So our goals today are to be able to solve quadratic equations, simple ones, to determine that if your value on the right hand side is bigger than 0, then usually there's two values of x, so that means you're usually involving a plus or minus, like you see down here. And also we want to think about just solving simple quadratic equations, leaving answers in exact form as well as decimal form. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is just kind of having a go at some different questions, and I'm going to be highlighting some important things, so you might need to make yourself some little notes. All right, so first of all, if we want to solve these equations here, we know that if we want to get from r squared to just r, we need to take the square root. However, we need to consider the two options. So what we actually have to end up doing is put a plus or minus the square root of whatever's on the right, and that gives you two answers. And the reason why that is because you can have 5 multiplied by 5, which gives 25, but you can also have negative 5 times negative 5, which gives positive 25, because two negatives multiplied together make that positive. So it's really important to understand that when you're taking the square root of something, it is the plus or minus square root of that thing. Right, in the next one, we've got to do a bit of work first. We need to isolate the t squared, so we need to divide both sides by 6. These ones give 1 t squared, and 6 times 9 is 54. I'm then going to take the plus or minus square root of 9, and so t would equal to plus or minus 3. Okay, again, you can substitute and check your answer. In the third example here, I'm going to, again, need to do a bit of work. So I'm going to need to, first of all, do the opposite of negative 8 to both sides, which is adding 8 to both sides. So that gives me 2x squared is 8. Then I'm going to do the opposite to multiplying by 2 to both sides, which is dividing by 2 on both sides. And that's then going to leave me with x squared is equal to 4. And when I do that, I then am going to take the plus or minus square root of 4, which is going to give me the solution of plus or minus 2. Cool. And the last one here is similar. The only difference is there's a negative outside the 3y squared. So what I'm going to need to do first is I'm actually going to move this whole 3y squared to the right-hand side. So what I end up getting is 6 is equal to 3y squared. If I just write that round the other way to make it easier, then I'm going to divide both sides by 3, which will give me y squared is 2, and y is equal to plus or minus the square root of 2. Now that can't actually be reduced any further. We call this a surd or exact answer because it's under that square root sign. We don't want to get a long irrational decimal, so we leave it just like that. And that was one of the goals, to be able to solve these sorts of simple quadratic equations that have surds or exact values in them. So can you make sure you're writing down some summary points? One of them should include this here, knowing what that means. One of them probably should include, remember the plus or minus. Okay, if you leave that off, you'll lose a mark. But make sure you also know why we include it, because that's a question you could get asked. Put down some more points, and then we'll talk about that when we meet again. What you're going to be working on today is exercise 2F. And again, you're choosing from the level. Make sure you filled out the booklet. If you need to watch anything again, feel free to. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.